Hi everyone, this is Jay Johnson with Daily Texture. This morning I'm working on this piece of art which I am basically designing to kind of express how I feel about some things that have been going on over the last year in my life. And I have opened up one of the floral textures from Floral Symphony, and I've added several of my bird photos in here, and I was just going to talk a little bit while I was finishing working on this. I've masked away most of their backgrounds. This guy here's the star of the show, so I've already got him masked in. And then I got these three over here, and this is all one bird. And I do this all the time. I will take several shots of one bird so I can get different poses. Because here's the deal. These songbirds, most of the time, they all look alike. And you can use one bird in your pieces, but it'll appear as multiple birds because they all look alike. So nobody will know the difference if this is one bird or several birds. And I've got this guy over here. He is a new bird that I've gotten this year. I was real excited to get him. But I've got these three chickadees, and I've kind of positioned them where I wanted, and I'm going to finish doing some masking, and I click them on and off to make sure which one I'm on. And I'm on this one right here. So I was going to finish masking away his background and try to put him on the branch. So what I was going to talk about, why I am doing this piece, we have had some photography friends that we have been photographing with for years. Excuse me. And this past year, we had a little bit of a, I guess you could say it's a falling out. Not really. Not that I knew of anyway, but we had taken these friends on several trips with us that we paid for the whole trips and invited them to come, not expecting anything out of them to pay or anything like that. And we've done several photography trips together, both locally and out of town over the last several years. And we really enjoyed it. And last year we were supposed to go to a local place about an hour and a half away on a particular weekend, and my friend had been sick early on during that week. So when I didn't hear from her closer to the weekend, I thought, she's still not feeling well. Well, come to find out, after the weekend, I saw pictures on Facebook. They apparently went without us to the place we had planned to go to that weekend. Didn't say a word, just went. Well, my feelings were really hurt about that. I didn't understand why that had happened. We had had no issues that I knew of, but my feelings were really hurt. So I talked to my friend about it, and she apologized, and we had some discussions, and it was during that I realized when it came to going places, we were the ones doing the inviting. And I realized they went places a lot without us and never once invited us. And my feelings were really hurt over that. So we had discussion about it, and she apologized, and I got the impression that I got my point across, and that maybe they would invite us the next time they went somewhere. And turned out not to be the case at all. They've been several places since then over the last year, never once invited us. And one of the places we had talked about going was the mountains, which we're not real familiar with the mountains and where to go up there. They go up there every year. So I said, well, if we go to the mountains, we would need to go with you guys because you guys know where you're going and where things are and what to do and all of that. And it was like discussed that, yeah, we'll go to the mountains together in the spring. Well, here came the spring, like last week, and I'm trying to get this bird's foot right. There we go. And so, and every time I click that to enlarge it, it moves me off of the bird. Anyway, long story short, they went to the mountains without us, never said a word about going, and I didn't hear about it until I had messaged her, and they were already there. And I don't know, my feelings just got really hurt over this because I feel like I was left out again on purpose, and I don't understand why. And it's just been a struggle this whole past year, and the whole thing has made me kind of bitter and upset and just feeling really negative, and I haven't really gone anywhere. I'm going to have to turn this bird to make him sit on the branch. I hadn't really gone anywhere much, but I've gotten a lot of bird photos just from staying around here. And these are some of them. And I like to process what I'm going through by doing art. I'm going to get rid of that toe. Nobody's going to know the difference. So I like to process, what's going on in my life through my art. And this is one of those pieces. And one thing I learned or have realized throughout this drama that I didn't even know existed, and I don't know why it's there, but one thing I've realized is that excluding me, lying to me, leaving me behind, and acting like I don't exist, it all has hurt my feelings, leaving me in a very negative place. But now I have the freedom to sing my own song. And when I look at it that way, it's not that bad. And that's what this piece, I'm trying to do with this piece. And I think it's important that we bring ourselves into our work and what we're going through, rather than just, doing simple portraits. I do that a lot. I like to bring what's important to me and what I'm going through in my life into my work. And these birds help me tell these little stories, and nobody else will know, of course, unless they watch this video, but nobody else will know what this piece means to me unless they talk to me about it and, what was behind it. But it feels really freeing to have shifted my mindset on this whole deal. And these birds and the background is helping me to tell this story and express what I feel. And that, to me, is what art should be about. And that's why I started making the backgrounds I make, because I wanted to be able to tell the stories and to express what I'm going through, emotions and things. And it can take, if you start from scratch and you don't have a background and you kind of have this idea and you grabbed all these photos and you're going to put them together, that can take a long time. And being as I run 2 businesses, well, 3 actually, now that I have my own mini gallery space here, which I would not have had if I'd have been out running around photographing, going on trips. That enabled me to do that, so I'm grateful for that. But I lost my train of thought there. I'm working on this bird's foot and trying to make him stand right here on that branch. I got to back out so I can see. But I would not have been able to do some of the things I've done this year if I would have been out running around. So I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful to have shifted my mindset on this, because now I can sing my own song. Before, it was like, well, if we wanted to do something or I wanted to do something, I always felt like I wanted to include my friend. And I thought I was being nice by doing that, but apparently that wasn't appreciated. And so it's time for me to move on and sing my own song. And that's what this piece is about. And the pieces of work like this are just more meaningful to me than just doing a simple portrait. I did another one using the same set with 3 bluebirds in it, and I did that to represent my my husband and his 2 brothers. One of his brothers passed away, and I had that on my mind when I did that piece, which I called Brothers, and it was 3 bluebirds on one of these branches from the Floral Symphony collection. But if you photograph birds, they can help you tell a story if you get the different poses. Make sure I'm on the right bird. There we go. I need to be on this bird. And I find it helpful to kind of pick out my poses and my lighting. I tried to make sure all these photos had very similar lighting. Of course, this one did because, oops, I erased his tail. This one did because the lighting it was all the same bird taken at the same time. But the other bird that's the star of the show here, that one didn't have exactly the same lighting, but it had enough of even lighting to, it didn't have a heavy sun glare or anything like this. Then this is why I do something else a lot of people don't do, is I specifically look to go out on cloudy days. Because when I go out on cloudy days, I can get even lighting on my subjects, and it's much easier to bring several subjects into one piece when you have even lighting. So that's something to think about when you're doing composite work like this, is the lighting. Of course, I can always change the lighting afterwards using textures and backgrounds, but if you can avoid having to change too much, it just goes a little faster. So I'm working on masking out this last bird around his tail to get him integrated. Now the green is a little bright behind him, but another thing I do when I'm finishing each layer is I go around the edge of the subject with a very soft, light masking brush, and that helps to blend the subject a little bit better with the background. And then I also use other textures on top, which I'll do here in a minute, to help give some similarity through the whole image as a whole. I was trying to put this bird on that flower to where his foot was on the flower, but I haven't done a very good job of that. A lot of times when I'm working up close, though, I have to do the close work first and try to get that as best I can, and then kind of zoom out like this and move things around. He is almost on that flower, so we're going to just scoot him a little bit. I got to move my image over so I can see him, and grab the move tool on this, and I'm just going to scoot him so it looks like his foot is more on the branch in the flower, and then I can refine the masking a little bit there. Actually, I'm just going to get rid of the foot. Let's put it behind the flower. It didn't look right. It looked like it was floating. I don't like stuff that looks like it's floating, but I can blend this branch in with this branch, the one he's on,